like I went to see it with different groups of friends, like the first and second time, and we were able to dialogue about it afterwards, and we each got different things from it. So I think it's a film that's going to make us talk whether we like it or not. It's going to keep on giving, right? But I do like the acting, I thought was great. I'm a fan of also seeing someone like Delroy Lindo, who is the older guy who plays the blues, and the woman, Wunmi Musako, who's sort of the love interest. And I think it was, these are just really beautiful people to see on screen.
Did you have any issue with the film?
No,
No. So like it's working for you.
it's
No
worth
issues.
Chris, it's not us. It's you.
You're damn right it's me.
Man, I forgot how to do this with the time off. All right. We're talking movies. We're talking our favorite films of 2025, and we're going to have some guests. Chris, viva la resistance.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to not just this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie, but our best of 2025 episode. We've been off for a bit getting this sucker ready, so I hope you enjoy. Helping us out is our friend Kelly McNeely, who is a media critic, and she is the co-host of multiple podcasts, including the Black Fawn Distro YouTube channel. She has written extensively for iHorror.com and has published articles for Modern Horror, 1428 Elm, Salem Horror Fest, CG Magazine, and Grimm Magazine for creepy crafts and cocktails, and a lot of dog and cat pics. You can track her down on her Instagram at Kells McNells, which will also be in the note section. She talks fast, drinks often, and is mostly harmless. Mostly. Kells, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm very excited to be here and to talk with you guys about some amazing films that came out this year.
Fantastic. And as always, we've got our very good friend Heidy Morales, who's a media critic out of Toronto. She is the host of the Highs Musings website. Heidi, you're always better at describing like what it is you do, because you don't just do movie, you seem to do a lot of movies, media and arts stuff. So obviously, welcome back.
Thank you both, and nice to meet you, Kels.
You as well.
So as we do, this is going to be our shameless self-promotion section. It's also why I didn't do a ton of reading at the beginning. So Heidi, since I kind of butchered your intro, why don't you just tell all the audience members who you are and what it is you do and what you have coming up?
Sure, thanks. So my website is Heights Musings, as you mentioned. I am based in Toronto. I'm originally from Guatemala. I do cover local arts and culture. Primarily, my buckets are movies and theater. And I think I've also been taken a bit of a break, but there's a review on a film that just came out, The Voice of Hind Rajab, which I think is something that people should see. And they can check it out on my website right now.
And obviously, in the show notes will be links to everybody's websites and their social media and all that type of stuff. Kels, what about you? Anything I missed? Anything you want to talk about? Let the audience know about who's who in the zoo here.
So as you mentioned, I am a co-host on the Black Fawn Distribution YouTube channel, where I have a little mini review series called Streams and Screams, where I talk about movies that are streaming online. I also do a podcast called Murmurs from the Morgue, and I've got a couple episodes coming up. I don't know when they're going to be released, but for a year in horror, I just did one on I think we talked about Barbarian for I want to say 2018 that year came out. I can't remember. Time is a flat circle, but I just did a guest spot on that episode as well. So yeah, just lots of talking in different places.
Fantastic. Did everybody have a decent holiday so far?
So far, so good.
Heidi?
Yeah, can't complain.
And Scott, I totally forgot about you. The other half of the show, the amazing, sultry Scott Vega.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun. It was like I told Rod before we started, there was actually a present underneath the tree for me this year. So obviously I was good. Santa showed up, so I
Does Santa
can't
call you a good
complain.
boy? Is that how that works? Or
Only sometimes. Sometimes he
well,
calls me a
only of
bad
your
boy.
only of your dad. Before we jump into the actual show, the body of the show, where we're going to talk about some of our favorite films or best films of 2025, I do want to ask a couple questions here, unprompted. So, any thoughts on the Quentin Tarantino attack on Paul Dano and Matthew Lillard while he was on the Bret Easton Ellis podcast? Does anybody want to talk about this at all? Or Scott, guess, jump in whenever
Um,
you want.
I will say Paul Dano is like one of my favorite Oh, It's That Guy actors. Like he appears in just the most random movies, but every single time he shows up, I'm so happy to see him there. Like Prisoners, he is incredible. I love him in Swiss Army Man yeah, Swiss Army Man. There's just everything. Like I just watched There Will Be Blood for the first time like a couple of weeks ago, and I was just so enraptured with him every moment of screen time that he has. Like he's always so good. He always comes out and just brings the big gun swinging and completely unfounded Quentin Tarantino. I disagree, and I think he is an extremely talented actor and was sad to hear him shat on a little bit.
What's black and blue and dead all over?
Heidi?
I'm a fan of Paul Dano, and I don't really care for Quentin's commentary.
I think it's funny because his actual statement was weakest male actor in SAG. Last time I checked, Quentin Tarantino is in SAG.
Get the fuck out of here.
And like, he should not be talking about anybody's fucking acting performance. I'll tell you that much. He may be the worst actor in SAG. Personally, that's how I feel. Scott, do you have any thoughts on this? Because Scott, you're also a fan of Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, well, who's not a fan of fucking Matthew Lillard? But well, we talked about this on your birthday. For me, I think the positive I'll take out of that is like literally what we just witnessed here is the role and like the masses just going to Paul Dano's defense, right? Like to me, that's amazing, right? Like that, just imagine that guy waking up, getting that tweet like he's the worst actor, and then all of a sudden being bombarded with like just love and praise, right? Like I think that was amazing. But yeah, like Quentin likes to talk. He's a talker. Like for all you know, right? This literally was like reverse psychology, and he did what Kelly just did, right? You watch that movie after watching it, be like, is it true, right? Maybe the streamings are up. Like, I don't know, but I think on the Joe Rogan podcast, Ethan Hawke had the best response for it, like in terms of like directors just like fucking like to talk and they'll say shit and it doesn't really matter at the end.
Ethan Hawke, he's the maitre d' of Dorsia, right? Okay, that was
He's
an
fucking
American Psycho reference, but I'm glad that went over everybody's head.
I was gonna say he's fucking Black Phone. He's the grabber.
It's actually when he was talking about Ed Gaines. He's like, oh, what's that? The maitre d' over, and then he puts in a restaurant. Yeah, man, I think Quentin's just being a fucking bit of a prick. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is some like 4D chess or whatever, but kind of a shitty thing to say from a director of his caliber. The other question I have for you guys: has anybody seen the new Avatar film yet?
No.
I didn't even see the last Avatar film. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's why my list was delayed so much because we were planning on going, but then like life got in the way. So hopefully we're going like on Tuesday or something like that. But I heard there's like a sexy scene, and that's all in Chris's like wheelhouse.
Yeah, boy.
What? How is it in my wheelhouse? What?
I don't know. Cat people fucking. I thought that was like your whole shtick.
What?
Big fan of the movie Cats.
Yeah, Cats or the cat people, any of them.
And only the original version. Once they removed the bum holes, Chris was like, "This is not for me anymore."
Turn it off.
I actually thought Scott would have seen it. I was hoping you had seen Avatar so you could give us some feedback on it. It's like one of the biggest movies. I think it's done $500, $600 million at the time of recording. And nobody's seen it on this show. So that's interesting. It's on my list, but it's like 3.5 hours. And I'm like, I had a lot of, like, I didn't even get to see some of the films I wanted to see for this show because I had to schlep myself out to the movie theater and stuff like that. And surprising, and Heidi, I think Heidi's also a voting member for the Independent Spirit Awards. The screeners, the screeners for those come out the Monday after we record this episode. So a lot of the movies that I couldn't see or would have not had to pay for, I'll be able to see about 24 hours after I needed them. So that's always fun. Do you guys have any other movie news or anything you want to talk about before we get into the show?
No.
Radio guys, you gotta say stuff.
Or say
we're also
no
video.
with our head.
Yeah, you can't say no with your head. You got to say no with your mouth organ.
Maybe
An emphatic
like
no.
on YouTube instead of Spotify.
Okay. So I think so. Just to let the audience know, what I did is we reached out to the guests. We asked them, what are your 5 favorite films or films you really liked about the year? So there's no necessarily like grading or order or based on any criteria. If this is simply opinion, and that's why I like to work on opinion because then I'm always right. So Heidi, why don't you start us off? Pick one of your films, and we'll work through this bad boy.
Okay, I think I'm going to start with The Secret Agent just because it's the top of my list. So this is a film by Brazilian filmmaker Kleber Mendoza Filho with Wagner Moura, who people might know from Narcos. And it's set in the 1970s in Brazil, and Moura is sort of on the run. He's under an assumed identity, and there's a military dictatorship at the time. And his work is in technology, like research. So I don't want to give too much away. I want people to see the film, but the idea is that there's something that's happened in his life and it's connected to his work as a researcher, and that's why he's on the run. And it has the vibe of the 1970s, like political thrillers and neo-noir stuff. And if people have heard me talk about noir, it's one of my favorite genres. So there's a lot in that film that is also that kind of just engages with you because there are like timelines that come back and forth. And sometimes timelines don't always work when you kind of mix them in a film. But in this case, they actually give you, they actually take you on this journey with the Wagner Moura character, which his name is Marcelo. And you kind of just sit there trying to figure out what's going to happen. Is he going to be saved or not? And then while you're uncovering sort of this mystery or I guess the crimes that are happening during that time in Brazil. So I would say that one is probably at the very top of my list as well in terms of if I had to rate it.
So the director has also done like basically all his films, Neighboring Sounds, Aquarius, and I think it's Baccaru, have all done well at like Cannes, and other major festivals. I know he got passed over for the Academy Awards for some of his other work, but it looks like Secret Agent is got a high probability of at least being shortlisted. Heidi, have you seen any other of this director's work?
I've seen a couple of other ones, more of the later ones.
And how do they stand up to The Secret Agent, and are they worth watching?
Well, he's also like a bit of a film nerd too, so you can see that he kind of references a lot of the older stuff and even like cinematography is kind of stuff that he really gravitates to. And the one with I think it's Udo Kier that's in Bacurau. I think that one is actually really cool and it has a bit of genre elements in it. So it's also done really well in that sphere. So if there's one that you probably want to pick to watch before this one or after The Secret Agent, that's probably the one.
Which one's that? Sorry.
Bacurau.
Bacurau?
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who likes both noir and neo-noir, how do you think it meets that criteria as neo-noir?
It does. It's also a film that is longer than you think it. Like it's longer and you're watching it and you're not really feeling that it's more than 2 hours. So it kind of just takes you on this what's happening. It's not a whodunit, but it's more of a, there are elements of noir in it where you're trying to figure out there's some kind of mystery and the thriller side of this political stuff that's going on at the time in Brazil.
Fantastic. The Secret Agent currently has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and 88 from the audience. Did anybody else see it? Because, like I said, this is one of the films that I missed out on. Like, I haven't gotten to see, and I'm going to have my screener for it tomorrow, unfortunately. But I'm very excited to see The Secret Agent. Scott, did either of you guys see it?
No, this was on my list too. But I never got to check it out. It was at the Rep Theater local, but I wasn't able to make the showtime.
I
And Kels,
honestly
I'm guessing you didn't either?
I hadn't even heard of this one, but you've really sold me on it. So I definitely, it's going to be added to my list. I love a good noir, neo-noir as well. So that sounds really interesting, and I'll definitely have to track that down if I can find it somewhere
Yeah,
locally.
It's
I would
it'll be playing
say,
at the Playhouse.
In the
yeah, it has
Playhouse?
limited. It has a
Yeah, I think
limited
it's at the
screen.
Playhouse right now, Kels.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'll have to make a track.
Yeah.
Heidi, do you want to say anything else about The Secret Agent before we move on?
No, I would say that if you're just a nerd for like 1970s kind of vibe in a film and you love cinematography, it's also pretty good.
And the actor, isn't he considered the Brazilian? Who's the actor they always reference him as?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. That's right.
Wagner has been working for a long time, so yeah, he deserves his laurels now. And I hope this is the film that makes him even more popular, but he's been working in English films for a long and series for a while too.
I know it's got a bunch of Independent Spirit Award nominations, and it may be
Oh,
one for Best Lead Actor as well. So,
nice.
okay, Kels, what about you? Pick a film. Let's do this.
I'm going to start with Bring Her Back because similarly, it is on the top of my list, just the notes that I have written. So Bring Her Back was released by the Philippou brothers, Danny and Michael Philippou, who also did Talk to Me back in 2024, 2023. But anyway, so they started on YouTube as just sort of creators and making special effects sort of shorts and short films. But they become two of the most exciting genre directors of the era, I think. Anytime that they do anything, everyone's very excited to kind of see what they come up with. And with this one, they really kind of knocked it out of the park quite again. Like they're very good at the complexities of emotion and particularly when it comes to like family dynamics, I find. So the film is about a brother and sister, sort of a foster brother and sister, essentially, that their father passes away and they're sent to a foster care home where the woman who's taking care of them, played by Sally Hawkins, who I did not recognize in this role. She's so incredible from Shape of Water. I just completely, it took me until I was like looking it up after the film and I was like, oh, okay, amazing. That I finally clued into the fact that it was her. But she has some eccentricities about her and is sort of slowly kind of driving a wedge between the brother and sister. There's, of course, some sort of supernatural elements, but essentially the Sally Hawkins character really wants to bring back her deceased daughter and has some very interesting ways of going about that. So I think that the Philippou brothers are also very good at working with newcomers. They pull a great performance out of their actors. The lead role, the sister, is she is actually blind as well. They actually did pick someone up that was visually impaired for the role, and she's so good in this film. Like she's so heartbreaking and so believable and so wonderful. And the relationship that she has with her brother character is just so sweet and wholesome and again just believable. You really kind of buy them as siblings. But yeah, I think it's just overall an incredible film, very heartbreaking, very scary at the same time. There's one particular scene with like a knife, and they actually like did the task themselves of like chewing on a knife to get the right sound effect. And you can tell because like it doesn't sound fake, it doesn't sound like a gaffer thing. It's so uncomfortable. And it just every single time that scene comes up when I watch that movie, I'm just the scene with the cantaloupe. I'm just like, I can't deal with it. It's so good. But yeah, I was really blown away by Bring Her Back. I thought again another great film by the Philippou brothers. I'm very excited to see what they do next. I kind of hope that they don't do another Talk to Me because I don't want to see that turned into like a horror franchise because I kind of have feelings about horror franchises as a whole when they're just kind of forced in there because they just want to make more money off of them, I think. But Bring Her Back was a great kind of wrap it up nicely in a bow story that left you not wanting more. It left you feeling very like complete and very fulfilled, but at the same time with a lot of things to think about, which I think is also a sign of a very good horror film, is when you walk away and sort of are still thinking about it as you leave the theater.
Heidi or Scott, did you actually see this film?
Unfortunately,
Gotta
this
gotta
was
use words.
also on my list. It was on my list, but
Same. I have it
yeah.
on my list too, but I also feel like there's so many films that we have to watch through the year that it's really hard to get to everything.
It
But
is
it's really good.
absolutely.
It does look really good.
Kels, what kind of horror is it? Is it like body horror? Is it like jump scares? Like what are we walking into here?
I would say it's a little bit of body horror, a little bit of supernatural horror. It's really kind of like it's hard to pin down because it is sort of a blend of different types of sort of sub horror genres. So I wouldn't say it's a body horror film, though it definitely has some very unnerving, upsetting body horror elements to it. I wouldn't say it's strictly a supernatural film because there's a lot more to it than that. But it just sort of meets somewhere in the middle. But in true Philippi Brothers fashion, they are very good at doing practical effects. They are very good at making you feel physically uncomfortable. If you've seen Talk to Me, there's several scenes in that movie that just like bashing his head on the table, for example, that you feel it physically in your body when you're watching it, and it's very uncomfortable to watch. So they're very good at kind of eliciting those feelings in their audience of just like it feels too real. But again, in a way that is safe for the actors to do. So it's a little bit of everything, I'd say, for the horror elements of it.
Would you suggest that this is like a gateway, or should this be only for like the OG hardcore horror fans? Like where on a spectrum? I just think that with horror, like
Mm.
you want to direct it at the right people, right?
I totally get that. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a gateway. Like, I would say that this is one that you have to graduate to a certain degree because it is a little bit more intense than, say, like Clown in a Cornfield, for example, or Until Dawn. Those are very great entry-level horror films because it's really accessible for audiences. But I feel that this one, because there is some really great uncomfortable physical moments in it, as well as some great practical effects, as well as some really intense emotionality behind it. I would say um this is maybe like undergrad college level horror as opposed to like high school horror, if that makes sense. That's kind of where I'd put it. So if you've gone through elementary school with like Hocus Pocus and Beetlejuice, and you've gone through high school with all the other films that kind of the teen horror scene, this would be like undergrad level, I think.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, it's sitting at an 89% and a 79 from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, check out Bring Her Back if that sounds like something you'd be into. Scott, why don't you give us your first film?
Yeah,
First film
mine.
in whatever order you want.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go like literally just with Dangerous Animals. That's mainly just because of a recency bias because I just finished watching it, doing it. This like, have you watched it, Chris?
I have not. It was on my
Oh,
list as
this
well.
is
Especially
yeah,
now that I
this
see that
is
Sean Byrne did The Devil's Candy, which I think Kels had actually introduced this to the last time she was on the show.
Absolutely.
yeah,
There's a
like it.
poster up there somewhere. There we go.
Yeah, it's right
Yeah.
there.
But
There.
yeah, it was so much fun, like B movie horror, and I think it's all due to Jai Courtney's performance. Like uh he like commits and he commits hard on this that it just becomes fucking enjoyable. Like halfway through this, I'm more cheering on his character than anybody else's because I think it was just so engaging for me. And my favorite line of that movie is when the one like the lead actress is like, "Oh God," and he just comes out of the bush. He goes, "Nah, it's Tucka," and then he then just fucking kidnaps her. Right? Like it's just fun. Like B level, not much. Like
Can
some
you give us a can you give
practical
us a plot, like
effects.
a bit of a plot synopsis?
It's literally just he is a serial killer, and what he does is he kidnaps people and takes them on his because he has his day job is like a swimming with the sharks tour in Australia. So the people that, just show up that no one knows about, he takes them on and he feeds them to the sharks while recording it with a VHS tape, and that's his kick, right? And then these people go missing, nobody knows, and then but he did pick technically the wrong girl the last time because somebody was looking for her. But yeah, it was just fun. Like it's just B movie, like just good times, right? Like you're I don't think watching it, even going in with nothing, you're going to not enjoy it. There's something there for kind of everybody. And like even the performances are like, because they've like every single person like commits, you feel for every single person, like when they're locked in that room, just discussing life and crying, feeling it. Like it's good, like you said, like you commented before in terms of B movie, right? Like what makes a B movie good is everybody's playing like it's A, like top budget, like going for everything. So I enjoyed the shit out of this movie.
Yeah, and it's good. It looks like it's only about an hour and a half, which is always nice because it's easy to keep the pace. And I'm assuming this has probably got a pretty good pacing, like action, serial killer, water, sharks, like all of that. It feels like I'm assuming it was like go, go, boom, 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 or
No, it like it goes, but then it breathes a lot because you get to know each person. Like you get to know their motivations, even like Jai Courtney's motivations, why he's doing it, right? Like you get to feel each person. So once like one person does get like sacrificed and shit, like you kind of feel for them. And then what he does with it after is it, but there's enough levity moments, especially with like his character and his neighbor and their dog, that it like allows you to breathe. But I think you'll like it, Chris.
did anybody
I'm
else see
only
it?
here for your approval. I'm only here for your
I know, I
approval,
know, I know
Chris.
you
I
are,
think you.
Scott.
I loved Dangerous Animals. It's no secret I'm a huge fan of Sean Byrne. Again, Devil's Candy and The Loved Ones is also absolutely incredible. So I was happy to see him return to Australia for a film because obviously Devil's Candy is in Texas. But yeah, I think I love the idea of like a serial killer with feeding someone to the sharks as his modus operandi. Like I think that's brilliant. And pardon the pun, it's also a very easily digestible film. Like it's one that you can go in and just again just enjoy.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. So it's one you can just sort of go in and enjoy and again have a lot of fun. Jai Courtney, like you said, really does commit and he's so like you can tell he's having an absolute blast with this character. But it doesn't feel cheesy, it doesn't feel corny. It's definitely like a B movie, but as you said, like everyone is playing their A. So I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a lot of fun and I love, yeah, I just loved everything about it. I thought it was a really cheeky, good time. And I was really happy to see Sean Byrne come back because it's been a long time since he made, I think Devil's Candy was like 2015. It took 3 years to get distribution. And so I was really worried this was going to suffer the same fate of like it comes out, nobody sees it until like 2027 or something. So I'm really glad that people are actually able to see this one in theaters as well as I think it's on Amazon right now or Amazon Prime.
Heidi, Heidi, did you see Dangerous Animals?
No, but I am a fan of his work as well. So again, you got to add some to the list. But I
Everybody's just like
totally like
extending the list that we're both like, oh, already got too many
that's
movies
kind of
to
the
watch.
fun of the show, right? Because
Mhm.
not everybody will have the exact same list. So
Absolutely.
more to watch.
Well, and Dangerous Animals has an 87 from the critics and a 74% from the audience. So I'm going to start because I on my list, obviously there's going to be some art house stuff. Even this one might be considered art house to some people. I went with 28 years later. Danny Boyle returns to tell his kind of post-apocalyptic zombie film. Brings back writer Garland. You got a cast with Jodie Cormier, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jack O'Connell, Alfie Williams, and Ralph Fiennes. With I don't know if it's cameo. It's pretty big. It's bigger than that to be a cameo. What I loved about this film is I saw first off I saw it multiple times in the theater. I like what they did with the story. Right, it's like we're now in this. For those that haven't seen it, you know, you're 28 years later from the original film that he did with Cillian Murphy, and now like the UK, they actually got rid of the virus everywhere else, and the UK has been quarantined. And so life has gone on. And so we kind of pick it up with like a small community that in some respects is a bit now like gone back to medieval times, very minimal technology. and the young boy's mom needs medical care, and so that's kind of like your inciting incident. That's what gets them out of their safety of their community and into the wilderness. I thought it was extremely well shot, frenetic, very dynamic. Cinematography, fantastic acting. There's a scene for anybody who's seen it. The scene with Cormier with the doctor. Those who've seen it know what I'm talking about. I cry every single time. I can't help but get teary eyed. And the setup at the end, obviously, the next film I believe comes in 2026. The
Like,
second
I
part.
think in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah,
I think it's either
January,
end of January or beginning of February.
The setup for that film is amazing. I also like the intro because the intro of this film starts like where like 28 days later is starting, right? It's the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, rage apocalypse, or whatever. I thought it was really well cast, really enjoyable film. Like I said, high rewatchability. Did anybody else see 28 Days Later or Years Later, and what were their thoughts?
I did.
I watched.
Scott, go ahead.
Yeah,
Oh, I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say yes. Yeah, I watched it. There's literally an episode about my thoughts on it, so you guys can just listen to that.
Well, I watched it as well, and I, in true Kel's fashion, did not watch the trailer for it because I like to go into a movie as blind as I possibly can. And so it kind of like threw me for a bit of a loop because I thought that like the whole film was going to be like the first portion where like they go onto the mainland and then like they can't get back, and then the whole movie is just them like surviving on the mainland until they're able to cross the bridge back. So when that happens, so like a third of the way into the film, I was like, oh, where are we going now? Okay. So I thought it was a really kind of cool way to make it not just the same story, to do something different with it, to do not just like, oh, we're surviving in the wilderness until we can get back type of thing, but as a we've survived, now I'm going back in because I want to help my mom. Really, I feel like Alex Garland must have been going through something with his parents maybe when he wrote this one. Or I don't know, but I really feel like there's a lot of emotion into it that that seeps through the script. That it really does feel like he's sort of dealing with something or saying goodbye to someone or coming to terms with something and throughout the script. And it's a very emotional film, which is surprising for like a zombie film. But I mean, not that that doesn't happen. We have Train to Busan, many others, but I think that I was just very pleasantly surprised with like where this movie went. I didn't expect it to go where it went. I'm excited to see The Bone Temple because Nia DaCosta is directing it, and that's amazing. I'm so jazzed to see what she does with this kind of continuation of the character. And I also kind of loved the idea of like this doctor just living in peace with the infected and just coating himself in iodine because it's the best way to kill any kind of infection, and just thriving in his environment and creating this monument to life and memento mori and you know the whole kit and caboodle. So I was surprised by this movie. I enjoyed this movie, but I at the same time, like it was not at all what I expected. And that's not a bad thing. I think it's always good when a movie can kind of subvert your expectations that way and take you on a different journey.
Absolutely. Heidi, you saw it, didn't you?
I did. I don't think I saw the trailer either. I can't recall now, but I did see it in cinema. I enjoyed the shit out of this film as well. I also like that it's a coming of age story. So I like seeing the point of view of the young people in film quite often, because that also challenge us too as an audience, right? In terms of like, are they being silly because they're young, or are they actually trying to, push boundaries and kind of learn about life? And I think they did that story really well here. I also had a discussion with a friend where we disagreed on this whole young guy's journey, which I think is great because that means the movie made us really passionate in terms of some of the themes that he was discussing, like the familial bonds, and also like the breaking of parental bonds too, which is something that I didn't think was going to come in this film, but they also tackled really well. But I still enjoyed the zombie part just as much. So it didn't make it into this five that I'm talking about today list, but it's definitely on the list for the year.
Now, are you excited? I'm going to assume you're excited for the second part of the film.
Absolutely. It's also Nia DaCosta. Come on.
Yeah, she did a great job with the Candyman film, and there's another really cool film that she did before that. Just the title's eluding me, about someone basically who is selling drugs on the side and has to do some stuff to like help out. I think her mom or a friend or whatever, like an old school like drama that she developed. I think out of a short.
Her latest is also Hedda, which is also on Prime right now, and it's based on Hedda Gabler, the play, which is actually pretty good. In case anyone's,
Oh, you've seen the
I
film?
want to see
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh,
Ooh, Hedda
definitely gonna check
Gabler's
that
a
out.
really interesting play. I'm really excited to see that
yeah.
now.
So she does her own take on it, and yeah, it's a mess. It's drama. It's yeah, games. Perfect.
Very cool. Okay, I'm gonna add that to
Wonderful.
the list.
So 28 years later actually comes in with probably one of our lower audience scores so far. It's got an 89 from the critics, which is unsurprising, but 63 from the audience. And I can see why this film was a bit polarizing. Those who liked it a lot, and those that didn't, well, they did not. We're going to stick with you, Heidi. Pick a film, and what's your next one you want to talk about?
What are we going to talk about? Maybe I'll go with sentimental value. I'll continue with some of the international ones. So that's a Norwegian film by Joachim Trier, and it stars Stellan Skarsgård, who many people know from the Skarsgård family. He's the patriarch. There's Elle Fanning, and she plays like a Hollywood star. And Stellan's character is a filmmaker, and he has two daughters who are sort of estranged from him. And sort of he plays this sort of filmmaker who had a really stellar career and is sort of older now and hasn't had like a hit for a while. And he has to reconnect with his daughters because their mother passes away. And that is sort of the scene that gets them to sort of not only reconnect, but reassess their relationships together as a family, but also individually with each of the daughters. And he's also trying to make a new film. He offers a part in for one of his daughters who's an actual theater actor, and she refuses. So he kind of bonds with the um, what is her name? Fanning. I just said it.
Elle Fanning.
Elle
Elle
Fanning?
Fanning. So he bonds with her as this up and coming Hollywood star and gives her the role. And then that also kind of creates an extra layer of him trying to figure out what he's like as a father. And, does this bring him back together to his daughters or not? People have to watch it to see it. I think I really liked it because it reminds me of other films like Bergman, like in Berman's films where you're looking a lot about relationships. There's also really cool camera work with like close-ups, so you get to really understand the characters and their emotions. And it's not like a fast film, but you're really invested in each of the characters, so you kind of want to see how this unfolds. And yeah, there were people crying in the cinema when I went to watch it. So a few films that are making people cry this year.
So Sentimental Value is actually one of my top 5 films as well. Joachim Trier, he also did The Worst Person in the World, and he gets back with, I think it's I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Rensav or Renate Receive, who plays a major role in Worst Person in the World, which I also recommend that film as well. It's beautifully shot. This film feels, and for some people, this statement will make a lot of sense, like a European art house drama, right? Like it's got that kind of Nordic feel to it. The way the story is told, it's just a straight drama. Like it's interactions of character, great dialogue and great acting, and that is what the fundamentals are built on, a story. Like there's not a lot of other crazy stuff. There is some very interesting cinematography. There's a scene with the little boy in the rain I thought was very cool, as Heidi already pointed out, the close-ups. My only issue, and this is something I complain about often, this film is over 2 hours, and I think it could have been brought in a bit tighter. Now, some will argue that it needed to breathe and open up, which I'm here for that discussion. But I did feel near the end it was getting a bit long. The ending of this film, though, I think, and Heidi knows, I think exactly what I'm talking about. I thought was perfect. Like I was like, oh, they're you when you notice what they're doing, I was like, oh, fantastic. Like I am so happy that they went in the direction. I don't want to spoil it because I thought it was really great. Um, but like the emotionality of the actors, their ability to emote in this film is just unparalleled. And some critics have said that this may be like Stellan Skarsgård's had a very long career, and that this may be one of his best pieces of work. Some of it because he is the father of the other Skarsgårds, and he's also worked with some of these European directors that are now kind of aging out. Um, it almost felt like I was kind of watching something, even he's not the writer, but like autobiographical. Like his performance, he is playing basically himself at points. You know what I mean? Would you agree with that, Heidi?
I don't know if he's playing himself, but he definitely relates to that because he's at that stage of his career where he's had longevity and he probably knows what it's like to maybe not get a part, or maybe even get a potential hit. So I think he's pulling a lot from that maybe lived experience, which makes it even more believable. I think it's definitely one of his best roles. I don't know if it's his best role, but it's definitely very good.
Did either of you guys, Kels or Scott, did you see Sentimental Value?
No, I didn't even know it existed.
Same. I didn't know it existed, but I love Stellan Skarsgård and I love Norwegian cinema. So again, it's going on the list, the ever-growing list.
Yeah, it's gonna get you in the feels for sure. Again, like just a straight up acting film. Like it's just acting, dialogue, no funky business. It's got a 96% from critics and then 94 from the audience. And again, it's up for a bunch of awards. I think also Independent Spirit Awards for both acting and filmmaking. So yeah, like I said, and it's also on my list of like top films. So yeah, Heidi, do you want to say anything else about it before we move on?
No, I think people should just see it and sit with it. It can be a
It is
lot.
a beautiful film. Like it is a beautiful film to take in. So,
Mhm.
Kels, what do you got for us next?
I think next I'm going to talk about Mickey 17 by Bong Joon-ho, who everyone adores with good reason. He did The Host, Parasite, Mother, and Snowpiercer, which are all fantastic films, I think. So Mickey 17 is sort of a alternate future, I guess, where they've created this position for humans where they can kind of be, I forget what the term is for them. It's like essentially they're expendable, more or less. So they go, they do the tough jobs. If they die, they get sort of reprinted and then they go back in, they get cloned, they go back in, they get cloned, they go back in. So Mickey 17 is the 17th iteration of the Mickeys. So he has died 16, 17 times at this point. And Robert Pattinson plays Mickey 17 in this film. He is so good in this because he again kind of does a wholesome, like so broken but still hopeful role. But he also does a dual role similar to Sinners, which I know we're going to talk about later as well, where Mickey 18 is kind of the guy who says the things you'd wish you'd said in an argument where you're thinking later, you're like, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have done that. Mickey 18 is the guy. Mickey 18 is the guy that says the things, that does the things that Mickey 17 wishes he could. So for certain key scenes, Bong Joon-ho would not tell Robert Pattinson which Mickey he would be playing in the scene until just before they shot. So it kind of added to that confusion and existential dread of like a clone who's kind of struggling with his own identity a little bit. But overall, I thought this one was absolutely brilliant. It is based on a book, Mickey 7, but this one kind of deals with themes of colonialism and corporate greed, the moral ethics of new technology, and society's treatment of like the less dead. And it also kind of talks about the power dynamics of a corporatized politician, which is not at all subtle in this movie. Not at all subtle who they're talking about. But and I also wanted to note the score, which is done by Jung Jae-il, who also did Parasite, Squid Game, and Okja. Beautiful score, brilliant score, absolutely fantastic. Like it really swept me away into the film. And yeah, I think this is just another one where again Bong Joon-ho just kind of does it again. Another knockout of the park for me. I thought this was such a delightful little film. Similarly, didn't watch a trailer for it, but I didn't really know where it was going to be going, and I'm really glad that I kind of went in blind because the journey was such an adventure and just very sweet and just really enjoyable. I really liked that movie.
Heidi, did you see Mickey 17?
I did see it, and I didn't see it when it came out in cinema. I actually waited because I feel like it was just not, sometimes some films are just not the right time for me. But I'm glad I kind of waited, and even if I didn't see it in cinema, I still had a good time with it. I do agree the score is really good. And I like to see Pattinson doing different things in his career when it comes to filmmaking. I think he's a really good actor. I also like him in Cronenberg's, is it Map of the Stars or something like that? But
Mhm.
anyway, he's I think is in that film. I like the array of work that he's doing and how he's like he does independent and he does these films. Definitely want to I would recommend it. I would hope that people are if they're a fan of the filmmaker and Patterson, definitely see it.
Yeah, and just to tag off of that with Pattinson's like selection of roles that he's picked after Twilight, like him and Daniel Radcliffe, I think are just like such interesting folks in terms of like what roles they're pursuing post like teenage fame essentially, and they're both kind of going in really interesting, really weird directions. Elijah Wood as well is another great example of that, is someone that like really was hugely popular in his youth and just is getting really weird with it as they get older, and I absolutely adore that for them.
Mhm, definitely.
Scott, what were your thoughts? I know we did a show on this, but could you give us a recap of what your thoughts of this film were? And I'll do the same.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we did do the show. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and I believe we both enjoyed it. If I remember correctly. I thought it was just fun, right? Like it didn't have to have much in it. It was just like an enjoyable ride, and all the political comments, like you pick up on it very quickly, and I think it adds to the enjoyment too, right? Like just seeing how far Mark Ruffalo's performance is gonna go. But yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah, so I didn't love it when we reviewed it. I appreciated the effort. There's definitely some interesting scenes. There's some solid acting at points. I felt it didn't structurally, it kind of falls apart. It felt a bit disjointed at times. I know it had a $118 million budget. So I think it's the largest budget that he's worked with. And it only did about 133 at the box office, which is decent, but not against a $118 million budget. So was not my favorite. Definitely worth watching though on a streaming service. But yeah, I think it was what I said at the time was I would not. I believe I saw it in the theater, and I would not schlep myself out to the theater to see it. So, does anybody want to comment on that before we move on?
I will say, similar to
Oh,
Heidi, I also watched it streaming. I watched it on, I think it was on Crave or something. So I waited a while to see it as well. And I'm glad I did because I think seeing it at home, I was able to connect with it a little bit more, which is counterintuitive because usually, like when I'm in a cinema, I connect with the film more. But I think for this one, because there's something about it that feels almost a little bit more intimate, maybe because it's so kind of casual, I guess. So I'm glad I watched it at home. I feel bad now that I didn't go see it in cinema because it didn't do very well. But I think for a lot of people, I think again, this is one that definitely is good to watch on a streaming service because it's just it kind of it's a bit of it's a fun ride, but it kind of deserves that more kind of personal at home connection. I think I can't remember how long it is either, but I feel like it was a longer film as well.
I think it's over
Recall.
2 hours for
I think
sure.
it's a bit,
Yeah,
just a bit.
yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean it's got a 78 and a 73. So I mean, people seem to not hate it, which is always nice. Scott, what do you got for us?
Yeah, we'll just keep with the theme of, Chris being wrong. We're gonna talk about sinners.
Sinners? Oh
Yeah,
fuck.
because
Yeah,
I already
three
know.
three out of four people on this show right now liked Sinners. Guess which one did not? But keep going, Scott. Give us a plot
Yeah,
synopsis. And
I was gonna say we did do an episode on it, so like my in-depth thoughts about it are all on that episode. But yeah, I've watched it again since now that it's on Crave. And yeah, I still find it fucking enjoyable. Like I love the cinematography. I love the use of light and dark, the way they did it. The design of the vampire, I fucking love too. Um, and just like it's fucking entertaining. And to like, if you want to go back to the beginning, man, like this might be a better From Dusk Till Dawn. This might be a better written From Dusk Till Dawn.
Definitely a better
And
acted
Okay.
one because there's no Quentin Tarantino, just to tie back to that. But
that's what I'm saying. There's no get somebody putting champagne down her feet so he can suck on it.
So, Scott, how did it hold up to the first time you watched it? Because you liked it actually the first time.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, it's still good, right? Like you get more of the nuances that, they're trying to do with like it with it, but also like some of the stuff they're doing like that scene where Rennick goes into that house. Like that was done in kind of one shot because they only had that sun and that sunset for that long and they had to like nail it perfectly. Like once like you go back and learn all the technical aspects that Coogler had to do to like get it to look that fucking good, like I appreciated it a whole lot more.
Yeah, this is the one that I basically got called racist because I did not enjoy this film. It was a film that I was super excited for. The cinematography is good, the music at points is good. I thought that again, it felt disjointed. I thought the uh, Michael B. Jordan playing the double roles of twins. I thought that was fucking shtick. Yeah, like the only reason I didn't walk out of the theater is because I was reviewing it for a podcast. And then I found out the whole world hated me because I couldn't not like the movie just because I didn't like the movie. It had to be something else, right? There had to be an undercurrent of racism or something like that, which I thought was ridiculous. I just thought it was a bit of a fucking fail as a film. Heidi, I can't remember if you like Sinners or if you have mixed feelings. What are your thoughts on Sinners? Because it's on your list. So
It's no mixed feelings. It's on my list.
Yeah. She's like, actually, I really didn't like it. I just wanted to piss you off, Chris.
I want to go with everyone's stuff. I want to be liked. No, you know what? I actually saw it twice in cinema. I like watching films twice in cinema if I can, especially if I like them. And I was a fan from the first time, and I'm still a fan now. And I think I can understand maybe people thinking that it's a little bit messy in the stories because there's a lot of different themes that are being tackled in it. But other films have done that, and we kind of forgive them for it. And
do we forgive them? Do
well,
we?
sometimes audiences do. I'm not speaking to you directly, but um, I just think the bigger we, the mainstream audiences. And I love the music. I love the Afrofuturism in it. I think it's also great to see it with friends. Like I went to see it with different groups of friends, like the first and second time, and we were able to dialogue about it afterwards, and we each got different things from it. So I think it's a film that's going to make us talk whether we like it or not. It's going to keep on giving, right? But I do like the acting, I thought was great. I'm a fan of also seeing someone like Delroy Lindo, who is the older guy who plays the blues, and the woman, Wunmi Mosako, who's sort of the love interest. And I think it was, these are just really beautiful people to see on screen.
Did you have any issue with the film?
No,
No. So like it's working for you.
it's
No
worth
issues.
Chris, it's not us. It's you.
You're damn right it's me.
yeah, similarly, this
uh,
was on my list as well. I do have to say, and Ryan Coogler, I think, is such a talented filmmaker, and I love him working with Michael B. Jordan. Again, the first film they did together was also the first film they both did, which is Fruitvale Station, which is so good. But for Ryan Coogler, this was kind of a passion project for him because he always wanted to do a horror film, but he wanted to wait until he was felt he was like a competent enough filmmaker, like a good enough filmmaker to do it justice. Like he made horror shorts when he was younger and like he really kind of enjoyed that genre, but he never really felt like he was like, oh yeah, I can do this and do this really, really well. And the thing I love about it as well is there's so many technical and historical elements that work so well in this film that you really don't think about that much. Like even just kind of the opening introduction to the Smokestack twins where they're standing there passing a cigarette back and forth, the logistics behind that because they had to figure out where they were positioning their hands so that he could pass off a cigarette, place a marker that he could match it with his other performance, and then they have to like add in a period correct World War I era cigarette lighter, having to roll the cigarette, get the spark, get that light, take a drag, pass it off, mark, hit the mark, do it multiple times over and over and over. It's really an impressive technical feat when you think about like the breakdown of how that all works, and that's kind of their moment in the film. It's like the AT-AT moment where like in Star Wars when like the footstep goes down on the AT-AT and you see the snow go, and that's what sells you on this world that they've built of like seeing that technical thing that just blends so seamlessly that you're like, oh, okay, this I believe this now. And for them, this was kind of that moment for them of like, if you don't buy us passing off a cigarette back and forth, you're not going to buy that this is two different people. You're just going to see Michael B. Jordan twice. And also, I do kind of love, again, with the historical context behind it, I guess Michael B. Jordan kind of did DNA test, and his whole family did at-home DNA tests, and his father-in-law found out that he had a percentage of Han Chinese DNA. And so the Chinese initially came from the Mississippi Delta to work in the cotton fields, but with the end of slavery, the plantation owners couldn't really depend on their labor. So they started kind of working in the Mississippi Delta, starting up grocery stores. So they would have one grocery store on the one side of the street for the black customers and one grocery store on the other side of the street for white customers. So the little details of that, of like having the same family running two different grocery stores for two different customer bases, and also the relationship between the Choctaw Indians and the Irish as well, as another really cool little detail because, the Choctaw Indians back in like, I forget what year it was, but when they had to, when the Irish potato famine happened, the Choctaw Indians basically like understood what that kind of turmoil was that they were going through after going through the Trail of Tears. So the Choctaw Indians donated a bunch of food and resources to the Irish folks, the Irish people, when they were going through the famine. And then so later on in 2017, Ireland elected the kindred spirit sculpture in acknowledgement of the friendship between the two peoples. And then in 2020, when the coronavirus pandemic hit, Ireland sent $2 million as a donation, like thanking the Choctaw for their kindness in times of need. So there's this big relationship going back and forth between those two peoples. So for them to be chasing down Remick and having that kind of confrontation is like such a minutia detail, but one that is woven so well into the story that again, it just, you don't question it. It comes off seamlessly, but there's so much more behind it than you're really aware of. And I feel like this film in general has that vibe where like it's so fun, it's a popcorn flick, you can go with your friends and enjoy like a really kind of cheeky vampire flick that has some great practical effects, some great action, some great music and some great moments, but also there's so much thought that's been put into it that goes on behind the scenes that you don't even register. And I think that's part of what makes it so special as well, is that it's not just like a one-off, it's not just like a, oh, this will make us a bunch of money kind of project. It was really, really well thought out and really, really well planned and really well executed, but you can also just enjoy it as a popcorn flick. And I think that's really cool.
Wow, that was that was a lot of info about the film.
Info
I'm
dump,
so glad
yeah.
it's historically accurate. Because as I said, I thought that the use of Michael B. Jordan twice, and I think you almost, as I was listening to you talk about like the technical requirements to pass that cigarette, I'm like, yep, it's shtick. It's like so that after the fact you can be like, see what we did? We did all this stuff. Like it wasn't in service of story, in my opinion. You could have just had two different actors. They didn't need to be twins. They could have even been brothers. And I'm going to use the example I used that got me in trouble online, which was I was talking about the movie Legend, about the Cray brothers that has Tom Hardy play both twin brothers because they are twin brothers. I wasn't trying to get Tom Hardy to play the roles in Sinners, just for everybody online before they jump on me. That is a necessity because it serves that story. And I just thought that this was like an actor and a director that would be like, it'd be really cool. We fucking did this thing. Anyway, I am 100% wrong because 3 out of 4 people on this show like this film. It's got a 97% from critics and a 96% from the audience. The audience did go bananas for it. And it also was a financial success. So the fuck do I know? And so
Well,
I'm going to pivot. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna hot take you on that, the two actors playing the same role for that one as well. I think one of the reasons that they did that is because it creates this extra special bond between the two characters. And I believe it was actually based on the Smokestack twins were based on real brothers in real life. I can't remember what their names were. But I think that part of what makes that work so well and part of what kind of sells that so well is the fact that like he's essentially, spoilers, but he's essentially trying to kill himself in a way. Like he's fighting himself. He's dealing with himself through this connection of someone he's so very close with. And I think if they had two separate actors, you'd have to really work hard to sell how tight that connection is. Where by having them as twins and having something so simple as like, I always roll the cigarettes, he smokes them. He doesn't know how to roll cigarettes, so he smokes a pipe when I'm not around him. And having that simple gesture of like that unity and that chemistry and that back and forth rhythm kind of helps to sell their connection in a way that if they were just brothers, I feel like would you'd have to work a lot harder to sell that connection. But that's just me. I don't know.
Well, we can agree to disagree.
We sure can.
So we're gonna go from like a big film. We're gonna go from a big film to another indie darling, and it's If I Had Legs, I Would. If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You. Yeah, which is by Mary Bronstein. She also did Yeast. This is going to be an example of a film where you have a female director and a female, like she's a writer director, and it definitely feels like a woman's perspective, 100%. So the basic premise is you've got Rose Byrne, which if you've seen Bridesmaids or the show Platonic, she's that actor. And it's basically, so she's a therapist as a job, her husband, and I don't want to say too much about what that person does because you don't see them until later in the film. And there's a cameo in there, which I thought was really cool. She's a therapist, or her husband's away. She's got a daughter that's got a feeding tube in. And so she's trying to balance all this stuff. And then they also end up having like a big incident at their apartment. So they have to move out into this like fucking crappy little motel. And it's just like the days in the life of this woman as she's trying to get like help from anybody. And also just like being a mom and trying to like balance all this fucking stuff that's going on. It is so good, but it's also like it gives you fucking anxiety. Like the way they shoot this film, you feel her. And like, to be fair, it never gets better for this person. Like that may be a bit of a spoiler, but like the arc is it just gets worse for the most part. Like this movie makes you feel like you're living in this woman's life, which I thought was such an amazing filmmaking accomplishment, because it's like a pretty straightforward script. Like this is a woman, this is what's going on in her life. That could easily be really boring, and it's definitely not boring. And more than anything, it makes you feel something. And to me, that is definitely an aspect of like real art, is that if it can invoke like an emotion in you, that's the goal. Did anybody else actually see this film?
No,
Heidi?
it was Heidi. I heard about it at TIFF, and it's had really positive, from what the chatter I've heard is positive. I have it on my queue to watch. Again, there were so many films that came out of the festivals that I just haven't been able to catch, but I am a fan of Rose Byrne. So that's on my list to do. But I will say it's definitely getting some good positive feedback online.
Yeah, and I almost feel like women watching this, moms watching this, stuff like that, it's going to even hit harder because they're going to be like, yeah, that's my fucking life. Because throughout this film, like nobody really is helping her. And not only is nobody helping her, but they're sort of like, what's the fucking problem? Like the husband's like, I'm at work. Why can't you do this? And there's a line in the trailer where she's like, I'm not a housewife. I have a fucking job. Like I'm doing all this stuff. Plus I'm a therapist. Like I'm going to work. Oh, and Conan O'Brien plays her therapist, and he does a fantastic job as that as a therapist as well. So I highly recommend this film. You can watch it at home. I watched it at home on Amazon. It's a proper like indie film. She's up for definitely an Indie Spirit Award for acting. She's so good. Like I cannot, because it's basically like her. Like even the child, they purposely don't really show the child very much. Like you hear the child, just like you hear the husband on the phone. And the idea is to center her in the film, and it works. It fucking works. So like highly recommend If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. It's got a 92% from the critics and a 79% from the audience. Okay, Heidi, do you want to take us to our next film, please?
Sure, I will go with The Ugly Stepsister by director Emily Blichfeld. It is her debut feature. She's also the screenwriter, and it's a film that sort of takes the Cinderella story and turns it upside down. It's sort of grotesque and it has elements of some body horror in it. So we're meeting Elvira, who has an obsession that she wants to marry the kingdom's prince and live happily ever after. She's in Cinderella fashion. She lives with her beautiful stepsister, Agnes, who we think is going to have the happy ending. But Elvira and her mother do everything they can within their means financially to make Elvira beautiful so she can attend the ball. So it is a film that basically looks at the fairy tale side of things, but also about the standards of beauty and the extent of which young women and women in general kind of go to sort of attain what it is they want.
It looks like a bit of a low budget film too, like 4.2 million. What's it out in Norway or Denmark? Did you say
Denmark, yeah.
Denmark?
Yeah, Denmark.
Uh,
It's a debut feature.
how scary is this thing? Is this like body horror or?
Yes, it definitely has body horror elements in it. So I would say it's also not a starter film for folks in case you want to ask that question. But if you have been exposed to some of the body horror stuff, it's not going to be too cringy, but there are definitely visuals and sounds that will make you uncomfortable.
Looks like it's her first feature as well, which is pretty impressive.
It is her debut feature. I think she just finished her degree not too long ago.
What would you pair this with? Like The Substance, maybe?
You could. It might be too extreme of the body horror elements into. I like probably maybe sort of like an older 1970s. There's a film called, oh my goodness, I'm blanking out. But it's two sisters, there's a rivalry, and there's a cat. I think it's a Czech film. Kels,
I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, I think that would be a good double feature. And honestly, I'm so happy to see this on your list because I this was on my list, but I was like really kind of torn which one I was going to pick. But yeah, this I think was like body horror at its finest. And I also like given such a small budget, it is such an impressive period piece. Like they really did such an incredible job with the costumes and the setting and the props and just everything is beautiful. It did almost have me like retching at the end a little bit. No spoilers, but there was definitely some great uh, elements that were really disgusting that I really appreciated. So I'm very happy to see that you talked about this one because I was really hoping someone would.
I know. And I'm also a Brothers Grimm fairy tale person, since
Yes.
I was little. So it's nice to see the elements of that. And the filmmaker talks about the Brothers Grimm being a reference, but also Cronenberg's Crash. So we know that she's got a bit of a pedigree in terms of hopefully what she's going to do next. The film that I was thinking about from the 70s and is Czech is called Morgiana, which I love and I recommend if anyone's interested.
Kels, what would you pair this with? Other than the one that Heidi just suggested.
Other than Morgiana, I think an interesting like non-body horror, but like an interesting kind of one to pair it with might be like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Or if you wanted to stick with the body horror element, there's another film that's on Shudder called Grafted. That's another body horror that I really enjoyed. That I think is from Australia. Yeah. Okay.
Is
Yes.
that with
Perfect.
the
So
Asian cast?
yes. Yeah. That's the
Yeah, that
the
movie's
the
fucked.
it's great. I loved it. That was another one that I was like,
Oh
maybe I
man.
put this one on the list. It was yeah, I was very, very torn on which one to include. But yeah, I think those two would be good kind of comparison pieces with The Ugly Stepsister. But yeah, it was a great retelling of Cinderella from a totally different perspective. And I love when horror films do that, when they take a fairy tale or like a well-known story to like, but what about this angle? I kind of love that. I'm such a sucker for that. So I thought this was a really great piece.
It looks fantastic. Scott, I'm assuming you have not seen this already?
Unfortunately, Chris, like a lot of things, you are wrong.
Whoa.
I did see it, and like I said, recency bias with Dangerous Animals. that is the movie that it replaced with. I was gonna say Ugly Stepsister, because I also thought it was really well done, and I don't like tapeworms. But but yeah, it was good. Like it, and like everybody's saying, like you see the money, like they spent that money and they spent it good. Like it is tight. There's nothing. Everything just seems to be on that screen, and it's definitely one to watch, but don't go in with a full stomach. That's the only thing I can say.
And what would you pair it with, or do you have a pairing that would go nicely alongside Ugly Stepsister?
I don't know, man. Like, because like I like this is probably going to be wrong, but I would go with The Fly because it's like from beauty to
Mm.
ugly, and
And
then
it's Cronenberg.
Yeah.
yeah, right,
There's
like
nothing wrong with that. I mean, your
yeah,
parents are your parents.
That's a
yeah.
good pick.
Yeah, I love The Fly.
I mean, I'm probably going to put this on my list. I gotta be in the right mood for body horror because I'm a scaredy cat, and it just creeps me the fuck out. But it's got a 96 and an 87, so really well rated. I love watching an independent film punch above its budget. So yeah, I'm actually stoked to check out The Ugly Stepsister. Kels, what do you got for us next? I'm moving right
Uh,
along here.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with another horror film just for funsies, and I want to mention Weapons, because I adore Zach Cregger. I think he's such a interesting filmmaker. I've been following his work since he was in like The Whitest Kids You Know, like sketch troupe back in like the 2000s. So when I saw Barbarian and I didn't know that he was the guy that made it, and also again did not see a trailer for it, as soon as I learned who made the film, I was like, I'm immediately going to watch everything this man ever makes. And I stand by that. I still will. So Weapons, I thought was very, very cool, very unique concept of, all the children in this one teacher who's played by Julia Garner, all the children in her, I forget, like, I want to say like second grade class or something, wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and they run out of their house and nobody sees them after that, except for one kid in the class that is still there the next day. And it's such a clever and interesting use of nonlinear storytelling. I think it's the best use of nonlinear storytelling in recent history since Strange Darling, which did that very well. I love
I
the
like that movie a lot.
villain.
If you haven't seen Strange Darling,
Yeah,
watch Strange Darling.
such a great film. But I thought that the use of the character Gladys as the villain, like she's an immediate icon. Like if you can do a character for Halloween and people recognize it, you know you've got a winner in the horror genre. And Gladys, you can so easily do for Halloween. She's such a great character. The ending had me straight up cackling like a witch in theaters. Like I was laughing so hard, which I would not call this movie a horror comedy. It definitely has some really funny moments, but I think I think the comedy is really just sort of used to escalate and break the tension in a very good way. I think Zach Cregger really understands the flip side of the coin of horror and comedy, that it's all about timing. It's all about setup and punchline, and he gets that very, very, very well. So while I saw a lot of folks that were kind of like not really fond of it because they thought it was too funny and they thought it was like a horror comedy, I wouldn't say that at all. I think it really uses the comedy as a way to kind of break the tension and kind of get you to build it back up again. So when something scary does happen, you're still kind of right there with it. But definitely not a horror comedy in my books. Again, I love Zach Cregger. I'm so excited to see what he does with the Resident Evil franchise, because he's got the next film that's going to be his next project coming out. But the cast in this film was also amazing. I was so happy to see everyone I recognized and also the folks that I didn't. Everyone in this movie did a great job. And yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun, really enjoyable, such a great theatrical experience for me, because I was, again, just laughing like an idiot and having a blast. So yeah.
Yeah, they made this thing for like 38 million. It did 269 million dollars at the box office. Got a
Yeah.
93% and an 85. Both Scott and Heidi, you both saw this film, right?
Yes. I'm the like I didn't enjoy it, unfortunately. But I
You
thought
did it because we
technical
did, and we did a
aspect.
show on this, right?
Yeah, like technical aspect I thought was great. The non-linear was great. Like and this now I'm gonna feel like I'm stupid. My issue was with Aunt Gladys. Like because I don't think the motivation of the villain was done. Like, I still don't know what she was trying to do. I also don't know what she is. Um, Maybe not, because I think they announced they're doing like a prequel or something for her. Like, maybe that will tie it up, because I didn't know if she was like Pennywise, because she just seemed to be like wherever, like, or a witch or whatever. So because I didn't know what the fuck she was, it just kind of turned me off. It's only my stupidity, like, so.
I think the thing with Aunt Gladys as well is that like it really leads you down a pathway of like this parasitic entity. Because I have this theory that anytime, or it's not a theory, I think it's just like something that happens anytime there is a classroom scene in a horror film, anytime there's like a movie where they're talking about like a subject in school, whatever they're talking about seems to be like the overarching theme of the film, or it like tends to lead you down like some pathway that kind of leads you towards the theme. And there's a dream sequence, Julia, with Julia Garner early on in the film where she's in the classroom and there's like a huge like thing in the background that says like parasites and it's talking about parasites. And when the principal, I think, and his partner are watching TV, it's talking about those parasites that like go in the ants that like go into the ants' brains and make them climb up the thing. And so I think it's an interesting kind of unanswered question that she's like perhaps some sort of parasitic entity that uses witchcraft to her advantage or something. I kind of like not knowing. I'm kind of disappointed by the idea of a prequel because I don't like to have all the answers with a horror film sometimes. I like leaving with more questions than answers. And I feel like this film did a really good job of bringing up some really interesting questions like that of like, what the hell is she? What is this? What's going on here? And so I cautiously skeptical about a prequel, but I again trust Zach Kreger with my life at this point, so I'll watch it regardless.
And Heidi, what were your thoughts on Weapons?
I actually liked Weapons as well. I thought it was a riot at times, and I think we needed that because it is a film that will test you in your seat, where you're not sure where it's gonna go, or you're maybe, I was sitting with friends, and there was somebody that was a bit of a scaredy cat, and she kind of made us also a little bit tense because of her reactions to parts of the film. So I think that's sort of the fun part of watching these sorts of films with friends or with an audience. So it kind of gives it that extra layer that, hopefully the filmmakers are aiming for, of the reaction that you have to characters. And I like that they made Aunt Gladys sort of this weird supernatural identity or being, and we don't know what the F she is. And I'm with you, Kels. I don't need an answer for that. I'm okay to suspend disbelief and let it go. But I think again, it just becomes this idea of, maybe the executive decision and maybe the filmmaker who wants to expand on the story. So will I watch it? I might just wait for it to stream. Like if there is a prequel, I'll just wait for it to stream. But I will say that that was a film that I really enjoyed the shit out of it in a movie theater.
Amazing. I can't remember what my issue with this film was because it's got a lot of great parts. I think I don't know. There was something about it. We did do an entire episode on it. So if you want to know like my deep thoughts on that, go check out our episode we did do on weapons. You also get a deeper dive into what Scott was talking about. On that topic, Scott, what is your next film in this list? I feel like we maybe shouldn't have picked five. Next year, maybe we'll do three top films because we're just like trucking along here. We're going to probably have our longest episode. So thank you everybody for hanging in there. So Scott, take us away, man.
I'm tired, boss.
Okay, so for my next three picks, I find where I am in life kind of like went with what my next picks are gonna be because they like spoke to me like and this is gonna sound so stupid, but I'm in the reflective phase of my life. Like I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, what's my legacy? What's my mortality? What do I have? And then these three films kind of like spoke to me in terms of that because they all kind of like are a pick in terms of things that I have been thinking in terms of my midlife existential crisis. The first one I'm going to do is just going to be a fun one, and that's F1. Because it's pure fucking popcorn, and there's nothing wrong with fucking looking at Brad Pitt and like running it without a shirt. Like it's fun, and it's just looking back at what legacy you have and what you can bring towards the new generation and seeing if you kind of still have it. Like we did a whole episode on this and we talked about this movie a lot, but I just enjoyed it for the technical aspects, the popcorn, and just the overall theme in terms of this movie.
Yeah, so F1 is what a movie looks like when AI writes it. That's what the dialogue looks like. If you like Formula One or you like racing sequences, they did work with Lewis Hamilton and Formula One. So that aesthetic is great. You got Joseph Kosinski, obviously Twisters, which was basically a fucking country music video that somehow avoided climate change and anything that would upset all the people in the red states. But Top Gun Maverick as well, right? Yeah, if you like watching stuff go round and round and you don't care about the dialogue, sure, check out F1. If you like racing movies that have a heart and soul, check out Rush. Heidi, did you see F1?
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't care for the romance part of it, and I just went with what do I like about movies, technical things, cinematography, and I think they did a really good job with representing the Formula One environment.
Kels, did
So
you see Formula One?
I did not, but I did see I thought it was like I don't know if it actually was or not. Was it a Days of Thunder sequel or remake or something? Because it seems like it. I watched the trailer and I immediately was like, oh, they're doing another Days of Thunder, and then it was like F1. I was like, oh, they're not doing another Days of Thunder. Okay, because I thought it was that, but no, I did not see it to be short.
I mean, there's lots of similarities between those two films. I guess the only difference is the Days of Thunder, he's brought in to save a racing team, and then this one, oh yeah, he's brought in to save a racing team.
Hey, Chris, I just want to say I really appreciate your passive aggressive tone in terms of my pick and just putting it fucking down from the beginning. I can't wait till
You're
it's your
welcome,
turn.
buddy.
Oh,
That's what
wait,
I'm here
is it?
for.
Wait, is it your turn? Oh, Chris, please, please. What's your next film?
No, hold on. We're gonna work through yours there, Scott, because you got a bit of a theme. So which one do you want to do next? Out
Oh,
of
we're
your
just
two
gonna
that
do
you have
my
left.
three?
Yeah. Just because
Okay,
you said
sure,
that
sure,
you kind
sure,
of
sure.
tied them all
Yeah,
together
yeah.
with a theme. So
Well, that's why I picked them because I figured you were going to be like, why the fuck are these on his list? Because I know you. So yeah, next one was fucking Jake Kelly. George Clooney, Adam Sandler. It's on Netflix, and it's literally just a movie star who, on his way to, becoming a movie star, he realizes once he's at the pinnacle, like he lost out on so much in terms of his life with his family, and goes on this reflective journey with his manager while they're going to a tribute for him in Tuscany, I believe it was. And it's just, he kind of is just reliving his life while he's on there to see like where the choices he made the correct ones and everything like that. But I think like in terms of like fucking well acted by George Clooney, because I know George, you probably saw this, Chris, and you're gonna say he's just playing himself like you always do. But I think Adam Sandler was fucking amazing in this as well. And it's not long. It's just like a fun little like dramedy comedy, which I really enjoyed.
well, and it's a Noah Baumbach film. Squid the Whale, Francis Ha, Marriage Story. Like this is what he does well. Exactly this, like these kind of two-handers. I don't know if he's officially like a mumblecore director, but definitely in the vein of mumblecore, which is basically just like dialogue for the sake of dialogue. I have not seen Jay Kelly, but no, being a Noah Baumbach film, I definitely want to check it out. And I very much like Adam Sandler as a dramatic actor, like when he's not doing Adam Sandler shtick, right? When he plays dramatic roles. So I'll definitely check it out. Kels or Heidi? Did you see Jay Kelly?
I did not. No.
Heidi?
no, I know it had a short run in one of the local cinemas here, but I knew it was coming to Netflix, so it's a wait for me.
Is that where it is now, Scott?
Yeah, that's where I watched it.
And then do you want to finish off with Eternity?
Sure. Yeah, that it's just a fucking comedy. But it's so fucking well done. Basic story is Elizabeth Olsen dies, goes to the afterlife, and she has to choose her eternity. One is with, the husband she had who died in the war, but that she was only married to for like 2 to 3 months. And the other one is Miles Teller's character, who is the husband, her second husband, who she had a family with. It's funny. It'll make you cry. Also, like, just I don't think it's a big budget, but they set up Eternity like a train station, but also a trade show. So each Eternity you could pick is like Club 69, all the party, none of the AIDS. Or you can pick a Tibetan monk where thing like it's just how extraordinary they are, and it's just funny kind of just seeing them there, but it resonated well. It will leave you in tears after, and I just thought it was fucking a good movie. Like, I really like it. Was my first 5-star of the year. Like, I enjoyed the shit
Really?
out of it. Yeah.
Where did you see it?
In theaters. It
Oh, you
had a
saw it in
short
theaters
little
here
run.
too.
Yeah, I had a short little run at the Cambridge VIP theater, so I went on a date night with my wife, and yeah, she enjoyed the shit out of it too.
Did you ask her if she would wait for you in eternity, or
Oh no, we
just
we
put
like
strain on your marriage?
we're just like, listen, the deal was till death do you part, and once that happens, like, contract's done, right? Like, if Marilyn Monroe wants to push up, she can push up, right? Like, you know.
Did either of you? I didn't see it. I mean, Scott is definitely selling me on it. Did either of you guys see it? Kels
No,
or
but I
Heidi?
love Elizabeth Olsen. So and Miles Teller is always a delight too. So it's you sold me on it. I saw when I saw it on your list and I looked it up to see if there was somewhere I could see it nearby, and there wasn't. But I saw who's in it and I was like, all right, I want to check that out because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Heidi?
I did not. I walked past it in the cinema. I chose something else, but I am hearing from what the audiences are saying they are enjoying it. So potential watch later on.
It definitely feels like something that's going to do well on streaming. Like once it's on Netflix or even like POV, not POV, pay for view. I think it'll work out well there. It's got a decent cast and like good ratings and such. So moving right along, my next film is Eddington, Ari Aster's film. If you don't know him, he did Midsummer, Beau is Afraid, Hereditary. This movie is fucking wild. So it takes place during COVID, and COVID films can be tough. Just because I think a lot of people just kind of want to forget about it, or we got sick and tired of like movies with people with masks on. It's written by Ari Aster. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal. You got Luke Grimes, Austin Butler, Emma Stone. And basically, you've got Joaquin Phoenix playing a sheriff, and Pedro Pascal is playing the mayor of a town. And they have different views on COVID and how COVID should be managed. And then that rolls into Pedro Pascal's character is actually up for re-election. And very quickly, Joaquin decides that he will run against Pedro Pascal. And then it just keeps unfolding from there, like kind of left and right. There's stuff about like Black Lives Matter, Antifa, the right wing ecosphere, like all of this stuff is just like coming apart. And it goes along on a track that you're like, okay, yeah, I can see stuff happening. I can see stuff unfolding. And then there's some fucking wild shifts in tone, which I don't know if they work, but they are wild. Did anybody else see this film? First off, just so I can like bounce some stuff off of. Scott, did
I
you see it?
did.
No.
You saw it, Kels? Heidi, did you see
I
it?
did.
Okay, so you guys know about the tonal shift I'm thinking about? Like
I didn't.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal sitting in his house, kind of jumps off from there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I love how Ari Aster does satire. I think like it's like a no one is safe type of idea. Like he doesn't approach it from one angle of like, oh, everyone on the right is wrong and everyone on the left is wrong. He just marches right down the middle and does this to both sides, and I love him for that. Him and Joaquin Phoenix, they work so well together in creating like a perfect portrait of a loser, I think. Like anytime that he has a character played by Joaquin Phoenix with this and Beau is Afraid primarily is like they've done such a great job of creating this character that like you understand while knowing like very little about. I thought this was such a clever, hilarious, I don't know how intentionally or unintentionally the hilarity is, but I thought it was ridiculous and I loved it. Ari Aster is a favorite of mine. Like I really enjoy his horror films, obviously, but I also really enjoy what he does, this sort of weird drama type thing. I love what he does with like the most random pop song. Like in Beau is Afraid, it was the Mariah Carey song. In Eddington, it's the use of Firework by Katy Perry that like just
Oh
comes out
yeah,
of
that scene with
nowhere,
the
but it's
firework, like
oh, so uncomfortable and so great. And like he's very great at creating an uncomfortable environment, something where like you kind of cringe on behalf of everyone on screen, but you can't look away. It's a delightful train crash. So yeah, I thought Eddington was really cool. I know exactly what you're talking about with the tonal shift. My jaw hit the floor. Um, and yeah, it goes a very strange place, but I was totally along for the ride.
well, and they wrap it up. Like the wrap up, you're just like, oh, 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 like you like where those characters all finish off. You're just like I got up and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
fuck did I just watch? Heidi, what was your take on Eddington?
She didn't see it.
You didn't hear me, but I didn't see it. I
Oh, you
think it's
didn't
a
see it.
film. No, it was on my list, and I know it did well when it was in, I think it was Cannes. But I think it's a film that I need to make my way into. I like his films, but I think I need to be ready for his films. The horror stuff is different. But this kind of satire, I don't think I was ready for it, and I think I'm gonna wait actually to see it.
Yeah, you got to be in the
It's
right
a very
headspace for it, for
intense film.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's very real the way they write it. Like all of us went through that experience, depending on what, regardless of your political leanings. And so you will see your like a version of your life in this film. You're like, I know a
So
person that spoke like that.
sorry, Chris.
Go ahead,
So
Scott.
do is the tonal shift Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal decide to make a podcast on reviewing movies? Because that seems like what happened
Maybe.
here.
No spoilers.
I agree though. Like I think it's kind of funny seeing a 2020 period piece. Because it seems like it was so recent, but it also feels like so long ago. Like everything was, and I remember watching it in theaters, being like, "Oh yeah, the arrows on the floor at the grocery store, and like you had to do this and da, da, da." So it felt kind of funny watching it from that perspective without the benefit of like too much distance. I'm curious to see like maybe like 10, 20 years down the line where we see more like 2020 period pieces and how those look. But I think this was a great way to do it as a satire, do it recently enough that we can laugh at it in a really honest way. While also kind of triggering that, oh God, yeah, that happened and that, yeah, we had to do that, didn't we? Type of thing.
It's a lot less boring than I thought it was going to be too. Like it's well paced, and then there's like actual action. Like there's actual action throughout the film, like just genuine like fight scenes and stuff like that, which bumps everything up, just like keeps you engaged. Yeah, highly recommend it. It's weird though; it's only got a 69 and a 65. Like the critics didn't go crazy for it, nor did the audience. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like it's a good film. I do wonder. Like I held off watching this film for a long time because the trailer made it seem really fucking boring. And like I think a lot of people, I'm like, I don't want to watch a movie about fucking COVID. But it's actually really well done. And I would recommend people see it because it's worth seeing. And like, yeah, when you get to that tonal change, it's gonna hit you like a bullet. So you're gonna know what we're talking about when it fucking happens.
Yeah. And I think
for
Ari
for lack
Aster,
of
like
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes don't entirely surprise me because I feel like with Ari Aster, like he's extremely divisive in lots of different ways for lots of different people. Like whether it's his horror films and how people feel about like Hereditary and Midsommar, or how it's Beau is Afraid and Eddington. I feel like he is one of those filmmakers that I think he's absolutely brilliant, but I think he's definitely not for everyone. And I kind of love that about him, that he just doesn't really care. He just wants to make the movies he wants to make and does a great job with them. Like they're incredible films. They're made brilliantly. Like the cinematography, he's had the same cinematographer through, I think, when he was at school. I think they met Paweł Pogozowski, who also did Fresh, which we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But also the score and everything too. Like he's a very incredible, like competent, talented filmmaker, but also an incredibly divisive one, I think.
Yeah, and he weaves like artistry into like message or statement or like you said, satire. So So Heidi, you and I both have one battle after another Paul Thomas Anderson's film. Do you want to take us away on that?
Do I?
Yeah,
Um,
I would like you to.
okay, so well, you mentioned the director, Paul Thomas Anderson. The It's based on a book by Thomas Pynchon named Vineland, and I think they've worked before on other film adaptations. And it has this cast that includes Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Leonardo DiCaprio, Regina Hall, whom I love, Tiana Taylor, and Chase Infinity. And basically is, I don't know, how would we describe this film as a summary, right?
Like a neo revolutionary homage.
Well,
Like,
sure, it's kind of a has-been revolutionary played by Leo DiCaprio and he's now, we kind of I guess we start with his relationship with Perfidia, who is Tiana Taylor's character, and they're young and they're part of this group of far left revolutionaries. And literally, shit hits the fan, and Perfidia commits a crime, and she leaves him with their fairly young daughter. I think she was not even 1 year old. And then fast forward. The Leo DiCaprio character's name is now Bob because he has a different identity, and his daughter is Willa, and he's trying to protect her. But of course, evil folks need to come back into their lives, and that's where Sean Penn comes in.
yeah, I mean, and I think that the reason I say like a neo-revolutionary film is because of the beginning of the film is very much like you reference like a left wing, Black Panther style. Obviously, there's like white people too, but like there's very much that vibe of like direct action. And so I'm just like, and it's as a leftist, I was like, yes, like the things they are saying, they're talking about socialism, they're talking about these things. They're not treating that subject matter actually like inappropriately. Like it's well, like I even friends of mine that are like identify as like communists and stuff. I'm like, you should watch this film. Like it's actually a good representation of like what militant leftism sometimes would look like or has looked like in the past, right? So I thought he did a really great job. I haven't loved like I like Paul Thomas Anderson's obviously like Boogie Nights, one of my favorite films ever done. I like Punch Drunk Love. I can take There Will Be Blood here or there. And obviously like The Master of Magnolia. But like I didn't like Licorice Pizza. I thought that was awful. And there was a film he did. And I could not get into The Phantom Thread. So it was nice seeing him come back and have a film that I enjoyed. Do you think it's his best film? I know you don't love, Heidi, I'm speaking to you. I know you don't love to do this type of thing, compare films, but like, does it sit in his top films, do you think?
I think it's an evolution in his filmmaking. So sometimes I also don't like comparing to their other work because we know that filmmakers evolve, and there's also probably a bit of an interest in exploring certain themes. And clearly, he likes working with Thomas Pynchon, so that's also part of what this sort of adaptation of his works are for. Is it his best film? I don't know. I don't think I'm like a disciple in that sense for PTA, but I think it's solid. This is a film that I also did see twice in cinema with different groups of people just to kind of see what my experience would be like. But it's
What's
still
it?
film. It's a really good film.
Okay, obviously you saw it twice. Do you think for the general audience it's going to have rewatchability? Because I'm not sure yet.
No, not necessarily not a recent, like you wouldn't watch it probably in the same year. There are films that you revisit years later, perhaps, because there is a tone as well where it can be very anxiety provoking in the journey that takes place, also the camera movement and the score. So I'm not sure that is something that I would think people would watch within a month of its release, let's say, or this year.
Gotcha. Scott, did you see it?
I did watch it. I thought it was good. It didn't make my list. Like to me, the best parts were when Leo and Benicio del Toro were together. That to me was what made it, because the repertoire and how they delivered made it just so like fun. But like I don't know if that whole thing in terms of the parentage is supposed to be a twist, not a twist, like, but I saw it coming like, oh, pretty quickly. So it kind of took away any like the bombshell, just like the I was just like, yeah, I figured that out already. In terms of your question, rewatchability, I can see it being done for technical aspects because there is a lot of like I love the fucking chase scene. Especially when it seems like the
Yeah.
camera was at the bottom of the fucking car and just going up and down those hills. I love that chase scene. I thought that was like super well done. But yeah, like it was a good movie. Like I'm sure it's gonna clean up when the award season come. But it wasn't in my top five.
Because it is also on a lot of top film lists. So I agree with you. I think it's going to get a shit ton of Oscar nominations, and then we'll see where it goes. I actually agree with you. I think it's going to do well as far as winning those awards. Kels, did you see One Battle After Another?
I did, yeah. So first off, Tiana Taylor is like too hot for this world. I remember like first seeing the Kanye West Fade music video. I was like, goodness gracious. So seeing her in this film, I was happy to see that. And Sean Penn is so despicable, and I love to hate him in this. I thought he was really, really great in this film. I think overall the performances were solid. I don't know if I like overhyped it for myself because I'd seen it so many lists and so many places of like top of the year, top of the year, top of the year, top of the year. So I went in expecting something. I didn't know what to expect, but I went in expecting something, and I think I was a little underwhelmed by it, which is not to speak to its quality. It was a great film. It was a very well made film, very well executed. But I think I just was expecting a little bit more because of how much I had seen about it. So for me, I was like, it's good, but I wasn't like, I didn't see it best of the year. Um, but it's a very competent and economical film. I will give it that. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Well, I'd hope so because it had a $175 million budget, so it better better be at least good. It's got a 95% from the critics and an 85 from the audience. So I guess we'll see. Check it out for sure because it's on a lot of people's lists, including myself and Heidi's. So it looks like, Kels, you've got the last film to round us out for the year. So take it away.
Yes, so my last film is Begonia by Yorgos Lanthimos. I love Yorgos Lanthimos. I think he is a brilliant and very weird director, and I love him to pieces. I think he works so well with Emma Stone. This film is actually a remake of a Korean film from the 90s or 2000s called Save the Green Planet, which I really want to see. I haven't seen it myself, but it's basically about this high-powered business executive played by Emma Stone, and not high-powered, not business executive, just kind of a bit of a loser character played by Jesse Plemons, who I also adore. I love seeing him in things. Him and his cousin.
Anyway, keep going.
Boo, Jesse Plemons.
I do not like Jesse Plemons. So
Well, you have bad opinions. We already determined
yeah,
that.
we've established that. Anyway, keep going. Sorry, I shouldn't have cut
But
you.
yeah, so Jesse Plemons. So Jesse Plemons and his cousin kidnap Emma Stone, convinced that she is an alien and that she is going to be doing something, and they need to stop her. And it's this whole big escalating crazy scenario of just like being convinced that she's an alien and sort of where it goes from there. Yorgos Lanthimos asked composer Jurgen Fendrix to create the scores for Poor Things and Kinds of Kindness by reading the scripts without seeing any footage of the film. But for this one, he did not provide the script. He just gave Fendrix only 4 keywords to work with: bees, basement, spaceship, and bald, which I think is chaotic, but it works so well. The score is just bananas. This and Mickey 17 were like 2 of the films of this year that like I watched and I just was really drawn to the scoring of the whole thing. Like I usually pay attention to that, but I was just really blown away by the scores of these 2 films. And yeah, this was like his second non-originally developed film after The Favorite, because he had 2003 Save the Green Planet, sorry. But he accepts offered projects only with full creative control, from appointing department heads to overseeing the final cut, to fully reflect his artistic vision as a director. And I really appreciate that about Yorgos Lanthimos, because I think he has such a unique vision and a unique way of approaching dialogue to begin with. Like, the performances he gets from his actors are always like so particular and so strange, but they work so well for his films. You couldn't imagine them any other way. Like Killing of a Sacred Deer, the performances are so weird, but you could not imagine that film with like a naturalistic performance style. Like, it just has to be that kind of weird clipped nature of his dialogue performance. And it just, I don't know, there's something about him that I find really exciting and really weird, and I love that. And yeah, Emma Stone is also just fantastic in this. I'm super jealous of her career and who she's been working with, again, with Ari Aster in the same year as this. And she's done some incredible films with incredible filmmakers. And she's been incredible in every one of them. So, yay, Emma Stone. Yeah, I think this is one that I was very surprised with, but I expected I'd love it. I didn't expect what the film was going to be. And that's always a good sign for me.
So since it's on your favorite list, like, because this is one of these films that I was like, I got to get to that film. I got to get. Do you think? I know you're not a big trailer person, but like, do you think that what you did see was representative of the film you ended up seeing?
That's a good question. I think like I'm trying to remember what's in the trailer. The trailer was a good at like sort of titillating like the kind of vibe of the film while also revealing very little about the film.
Okay.
I think this is one where like it's good to go in blind, because I just believe that about pretty much everything that I see. But this one, I think like if you do watch the trailer, I think you're still going to kind of it goes some very kind of strange and exciting and interesting and bizarre places. Um, and while it's tonally kind of reflected in the trailer, it's not like given away by the trailer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Heidi, did you see it?
No, it's one that is on my list, but again, I had to make choices. So I have to wait now. Well, I think it's coming on streaming. Is it already streaming?
Yeah, I got it on Amazon Prime, so I don't know if it's streaming there, but I just ended up buying it because I knew I would want to own it.
Yeah, I had a friend who told me that, yeah, I'm in for a ride for sure.
For sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting, interesting. Scott, what about you? Did you see it?
No, and I apologize because I can't really pronounce the director's name. With his movies, like I find like I gotta be at home to watch them, and like I need to prep for like a week before, be like, okay, on Saturday next week, I'm gonna watch this movie and just like get there because I know it's gonna be either good or it's just gonna be a mind fuck or I'm hit and miss with them, right? So like,
Yeah. And this is one that I
unfortunately.
watched at home. Like, I didn't see it in theaters, and I'm glad I did watch it at home, because I agree. Like, I think Yorgos Lanthimos is one of those filmmakers that like you have to be in the right mindset for. You have to be in the right headspace and like prepare yourself mentally and physically to experience his films. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it if it's something where like you have the opportunity to stream it at home in a time where you've been able to like zone in and mentally build the fortitude to watch it. It's definitely a fun one.
So I'm a big fan of I like The Lobster. I think The Lobster is like such an interesting little film. But my favorite film by him is actually The Favorite. I thought that like the use of cinematography, the darkness, like the film itself is actually aesthetically dark. And then you got like Rachel Weisz and Olivia Colman and what's her name? Again, we
Emma
just talked
Stone's
about
in
her.
it too. Yeah.
Emma Stone in it as well, right? Like that film is so perfectly constructed. Also, Nicholas Hoult is the perfect like upper crust British gentleman with the wig, and yeah, like it's a great film. So, it's got an 87% from the critics and an 84 from the audience. So that's it, guys. I feel like we covered a ton of ground. We're almost at a 2 hour episode, definitely the longest show that we've ever done on the show. So thank you so much for coming out. Is there anything else you want to say about films before we leave? And then definitely, I'm going to let you go individually where you remind everybody where to find you and your stuff. So do you guys have anything else you want to talk about as far as cinema right now before I let you go?
Oh, I'm just gonna ask one question to everybody. No context, no nothing. Just name the movie. Um, Off the top of your head, what was the worst movie you watched this year? Go, Chris.
Oh man, this is always fucking hard. I need to look at a list, man. There was yeah, I don't know. I'm not doing that. I'm not good off the top like this. I need to see a list of movies and then I can come back to you. Heidi, you want to
Heidi?
try?
It's a festival one. Fuck my son.
Is that what it's
Heard
called?
about that one. Yeah.
I heard that's very
Heard
popular on websites.
Gross.
What
Yeah.
about you,
Gross
Kels?
because of the title or the actual story. I expected more from the hype that it was getting as a movie. I'm not even gonna call it a film.
Gotcha.
Wow. Kels?
I think again, just doing like the first two scrolls through my letterbox because I genuinely can't remember what I watched. Do you mean like movies that I watched that came out this year or just
Yeah.
anything that I watched this
Yeah.
year? Came out
Came
this
out
year.
this year.
I would say the most disappointing would maybe be Abraham's Boys, a Dracula story by Natasha Kermani, because I loved Lucky. I thought Lucky was such a great film, and I love Abraham's Boys, the story, because I'm a huge fan of Joe Hill. But I think this kind of suffered the curse of the Stephen King Joe Hill adaptation, where it's great on paper, doesn't always translate to film very well. So I think that one was just a disappointment for me because I wanted to like it, and I was just sort of like, about it. So not
Oh,
the worst, but not, eh.
anything Osgood Perkins did this year was awful. And it
It
also
was like
anything
three
Osgood Perkins
movies.
does, yeah, anything Osgood Perkins does next year will be awful. So that's my take. Scott?
That's a hot take.
That's hot, right?
Mine was the Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake. I
Ooh,
don't
that
think
was fucking bad too.
yeah, I don't think there was anything as bad because it's such two competent, like such good actresses, right? And it was just bad. It's just bad.
Especially when the OG, like you go back and watch it and you're like, man, this is a good fucking movie. And then you watch that just piece of dog shit.
You know, like,
Anyway,
fair.
on that, Heidi, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you? Obviously, everything's going to be in the show notes anyways, and we'll let you go.
Sure, you can find me on my website, hyemusings.ca, Heist Musings, and the socials, same handle, hyemusings.
And Kels, you want to do the same?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Kells McNells and YouTube on Black Fawn Distribution's channel. And I'm really bad at like posting when and where I'm doing things, but I'm trying to get better at it. So like, I don't know. Instagram probably is the best, but that's about it.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time and putting your list together and coming on our show. And I hope you guys have a happy new year and lots of new films to watch in 2026.
Thank you so much for having us, by the way. This has been a lot of fun. And Heidi, it's so great to meet you. And I definitely have to track you down because you've got a lot of exciting opinions that I'm happy about.
Agree to disagree sometimes, so it's always good.
Absolutely.
Thank you both. And Kels, nice to meet you.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com.
Well, Scott, this is a long episode. I think maybe next year we do maybe less films, but what are your thoughts on that wrap up as we get out of here and come back in
it
2026?
was interesting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, interesting takes, a lot of different opinions. And yeah, like just like always, we've proven that I'm right a lot of times and you're wrong. So it was fun. But yeah, like Happy New Year, and I just want to say I appreciate you, and I hope 2026 is your year.
Oh, thanks, man. You're the perfect foil. And to the audience, same to you. I hope you've had a great holiday. Have a fantastic new year. Thank you for sticking with us. We're in the 6th year. We couldn't do it without you guys. And this will drop, and then we'll be back in 2026.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.